welcome to this live stream. I was having a bit of a meltdown then because I was fuming with Restream, which is a software I'm using today, because I couldn't see my live stream live at all. And there we go. I was fuming with it because I couldn't see it live at all, and it's because I've not pressed the go live button. Mr. Professional here. I do live streams for a living. Well, I don't get, that's not entirely true. I do other stuff for a living, but live stream is a large part of it, right? Right, I'm really nervous about this today. And I'll tell you why I'm nervous, right? Because there's a whole bunch of stuff that happens with people that start stuff on the 1st of January, right? I know what the preconceptions of things are about people that start stuff on the 1st of January. But I, like with anything, like with live streaming, right? When people start live streaming, you often think about what other people think. You think about what they're going to say, how they're going to feel about it, all that kind of good stuff. And so starting stuff on the 1st of January, for me, has that same, I have that same expectation of what people will think about it. Because it's like, oh, another New Year's resolution, blah, blah, blah. But I absolutely fundamentally celebrate people making big shifts in their lives. And I think there's no other time in life, no other time in the year where you truly get time to reflect on stuff other than Christmas and New Year's. So I think if you're going to go start something, what better time to start than January? I had the same sort of thing happen when I go on holiday. Of course, last year I didn't really go on holiday very much. The same sort of thing happens. I have some downtime, some time to reflect, and I usually start new stuff after holidays because I've had that time to reflect. So this live stream that I'm doing is business and life every day. I've decided to do a live stream every day. I've got a challenge running. Selfishly, the challenge that I'm running, that's a 30-day challenge, was to help hold me accountable. Like, I decided at the start of December, actually, I was going to do a live stream every day during January. We had the live video challenge last month, and I made the commitment to people. I said, hey, if you want to do a 30-day challenge, it's happening in January. We're going to do that in January. But it was selfishly to hold myself accountable. So this live stream, business and life every day, is my attempt to document exactly what I put in a post yesterday. So, you know, you get to the end of the year, everyone reflects on what's gone on, and I had to go back through my feed to remind myself about 2020. Like, so much has happened during that year that I actually go back and remind myself of, and I wrote down little notes of each month, and then I posted it yesterday. And I thought, wouldn't this have been great if I'd have documented it every day in video? Which is, again, part of the reason why I'm doing this. But so before we talk about the current situation of where I am personally, and again, you don't need to stick around for this. This is a personal documentation, but live. I believe in being very transparent in what you're doing. I'm going to go back to 2019 then, December 2019, and the start of 2020. I'm going to just talk a little bit about where I was then and why I believe this is potentially the best year that I can have, or it's potentially has the potential to be the best year for making changes in my life. So this time last year, I was still in a corporate job. What I mean by that, I'd had a video company for 7 years. My video company was not a side hustle by any means. We made a lot of money with that video company, had up to 7 staff at one point, 6 or 7 staff at that point. We traveled the world making videos globally for big tech companies, that kind of thing. There wasn't a side hustle really. There was people that had permanent jobs as part of that, but I was still contracting. I was still in a corporate job, earning 6 figures in that job. Didn't really want to leave it because it was so easy for me, and I pulled in quite a lot of money for it, right? But it meant I could never go fully invested. The problem with that situation, it's not really a problem, it's a good problem to have, is that I could never really invest fully in the business. And in order to leave it, I had to fill the hole that I would create by leaving a 10K a month job. So I created something this time last year called Road to 20K. Like, I worked it out and I was like, if I really want to leave that job, I need to generate £20,000 of revenue in my business. And we were doing quite well in the video company at the time. And I had some other things that I was trying to get started, and I created this Road to 20K, and it just failed really badly. It failed because I was still not fully invested in it. So I had a large debt in the business and tax and that kind of thing for HMRC. And I really, in sort of end of January, February time, I needed to make the decision that if I was going to fully invest in the business, I would have to close it. Actually, fully invest in business and close it. Well, I decided to shift what I was doing, basically. And we did that in February 29th. We moved out of the office, closed it, and we basically started afresh in March the 1st. I quit my contracting job, but my contract naturally came to an end, and I went fully invested in this new business. So that's where I was last year. The rest of that story is on my wall if you want to read that. But it's meant that this year, for the first time in as long as I can remember, I've started January the 1st fully self-employed, fully responsible for my own income. And I know, like, everyone has personal responsibility all the time, right? Like, you're always responsible for your own income. I don't like to say, oh, it's someone else's responsibility. Like, we're always personally responsibility. But what I mean also is that I have freedom. Like, I work from this office that I'm in now. I have freedom to work from this office. There's a whole bunch of pressure that comes along with that, right? Because you're personally responsible for it, then you have to generate the stuff that comes along to pay your bills, right? But I'm not scared about that. I've always been the kind of person that would generate income. I've always been the person that would find work, that would solve problems for people, and they would pay me for it. So I believe I'm not worried, I'm not scared or anything like that. Actually, this year we did, we had a good year, and the only issue with that good year is I had a big corporate client. Half of my revenue came from this corporate client. So that's coming to an end the end of January, and I've got to replace that income now. So there's still a bit of pressure there. But I think having pressure, I mean, you tell me, right? If you happen to watch this far, thanks so much, by the way, for watching. But tell me, like, do you like having financial pressure? Do you think it's a good thing or a bad thing? I'd love to know your answer to that. So what's the deal then? So this is called Business and Life Every Day, and I'm going to talk about personal, always personal first, and I'll talk about business second. So if you're here because you care about Matt the person, you can listen to what my personal goals are. But if you're here because you care about Matt the business person, I will tell you that second. So personal, business. So I put everyday life, business and life. I should put it the other way around, right? Anyway, doesn't matter. Personal goals then. Oh my fucking God. I so hate talking about this stuff. I so hate talking about it. But if I'm going to be fully transparent about it, I've got to say it out loud, right? I liked Helen's comment yesterday. Helen Pritchard, she said that she had a word for 2020. I think it was love. And I think my word for 2021 has to be health. I had a great moment during 2020. Not a moment, it was like 5 months where we focused on health, and it worked out really well for us. And in the last few months, that's gone downhill. So my goal for this year is to focus on my health, like the business side of things. I genuinely believe if my health is better, my business will be better as well. This is one of the things that I've always thought held me back. In fact, I talked about this privately to a few people, but I'm happy to share it with you as well. I may have shared it once or twice before. But as a business owner, one of the biggest things that holds me back is I've always thought that people don't consider you successful if you're fat, right? Overweight. The word fat is not great. If you have fat, is what my old nutritionist used to say. I've always thought that people don't think you can be successful if you're overweight. So it's something that's just generally there all the time, right? Like so. I think one of the things that I've put, I've got like personal development here, and it says like, what don't I know is one of the personal development things I want to work on, and also like my mindset around this stuff. And so I think if I can combine the physical aspect of becoming healthier alongside the mindset part of becoming healthier, I think this will help as I go forward. So I've got a couple of goals around that. My goal has always been, strangely enough, to wear an XL t-shirt. By the way, do not pitch me about becoming a nutritionist or a personal trainer. I know loads of people that can help me with this stuff, right? Do not pitch me, please. It's just a public announcement. I don't need your help. Thank you. I would literally just find the person I want to help if I wanted help. So XL t-shirt has always been the thing that I have focused on, because I can't go into a high street and get clothes. Right? It's always bothered me that I've not been able to get into a high street and get clothes. I think a lot of people feel the same that are in my position. So I think changing that is a primary focus. And walking 10,000 steps, I did this a lot last year. Way more than I've ever done before. My average before I started walking 10,000 steps was 2,000 to 3,000 steps. One of the challenges that I'm taking part in this year to accomplish that is, or to help towards that, I know that not every day it's possible. Other days you could do 20,000 steps. When I used to go to conferences, I'd do that quite often. One of the challenges that I liked the look of was a 1,000-mile challenge. I've seen this, I think it's 1000milechallenge.com or .co.uk. And I just like that. It's like a little countdown. So you start, because I know when I do 10,000 steps, it's generally about 3.5 miles, something like that. So it's very, very possible, and it doesn't mean doing, I even worked it out that you could do 10,000 steps every weekday, because I generally do that at the weekend, and I would achieve that, right? And I know that's part of the challenge, my personal challenge, to focus on my health. So I'm hoping throughout this business and life live stream that I do every day, which again is for personal documentation really, you will see my face get smaller. That's the hope about it. All right, so that's it. That's my focus this year personally, is health. There's other things that I want to do this year from a personal perspective. I'd like to go on holiday with family. We've not done that this year. We are very much a travelling family. I wouldn't say that we travel as often as others might do, but we love going on holiday together. I've said to ABS, I said it's really funny because prior to lockdown, we've not really spent more than like 2 weeks together, and we've spent almost a whole year together and not killed each other, which is an achievement. But I felt like that it's a family we've got closer. Sometimes it's been difficult. As a family we've got closer, and I think we've just missed having that kind of nice time of going on holiday. So I'm hoping that things like that personally will change as well. I think many people can relate to that. Hopefully as the vaccine goes out, we can start to get back to normal as well. So business then, let's talk about business. I feel like I talk about business all the time, but I'm going to share with you some of my business goals and things that I'd like to achieve this year, and I'll document towards those goals. So one of my business goals, well, let me tell you about my business first, because I suppose if you don't know much about the business and how I actually generate income, it won't make much sense to you. So as it currently stands, I have two limited companies, two businesses. One of them is called Hazel Sky Limited, and one of them is called Digital Marketing Rockstars Limited. Hazel Sky Limited started officially in February last year. Our first end of year is the end of January. That's when the company was registered, but so officially it's 12 months at the end of this month. That business, we started as a content repurposing business actually. We decided that we were going to do content repurposing. So you'd send us a video and we'd chop it up into loads of little bits and then send it back to you. And we made a great start with that, but actually it's changed now into many different things. We do transcriptions service, we do transcriptions, video transcriptions, video editing for people. We do lead magnets has become a really great thing, so we design, create bespoke lead magnets, a whole bunch of different things like that. There's a shop front that we have, and you buy credits and then you can use the credits against the different things that we have, and that's working really well. Over the last 12 months I've changed that system 4 times, and it only got to about September as we started taking on more remote based staff, that I've got a system now that I'm really, really sold on. It's a scalable system, and I believe this year will be huge for Hazel Sky, because for the one reason, by the way, one key reason, and that's because I won't keep changing stuff. everything's in Hazel Sky. My video editing, our content repurposing, transcriptions, lead magnets, they're all in the same platform. You can go in, it's like a pick and mix. So I'm really excited about that. So I said my revenue was half of it was this corporate client that's going at the end of January, sort of in line with my end of year. So what I'm hoping to do is get to 100k in revenue with that business. Actually 85k in revenue, so short of the VAT. I don't want to register for VAT the next year unless we have an explosion of growth, really. So sort of 85k is my target with Hazel Sky, directly related to those products and services. So everything that we've done that's generated 6 figures this year, it's been all over the place, a few different things that have combined for that revenue. Whereas I'd like to say Hazel Sky on its own as a business, scalable business, can generate 85k. And then I'd like to do the same in the King video. So Digital Marketing Rockstars, that limited company starts trading today. Hurrah! And I'd like to do the same. So Digital Marketing Rockstars is a training and coaching business. King of Video is one of the brands related to that. And I really want to get that to the same level. So, and that's Hazel Sky is a business that my wife runs. We've got staff in that business. It's scalable. I've got a project manager in there. It should, in theory, with me doing business development, it should grow on its own. I shouldn't have to have input outside of finding customers for it, right? I do sales and business development. But with the King of Video stuff, I'm fully responsible for everything that happens in there. So again, it's kind of like the personal responsibility part. And so that's my vision for the next year. That's what I want to come back this time next year, and be able to watch this video and say, did I achieve those goals? I'm really focused on those two things. Just as a side note to that, the other thing, and this comes back to significance, right? And I guess the personal development part that I've put on my little post-it note here. One of the things that came off the back of the Hazel Sky stuff that we're doing with the lead magnets that we've done is in the last 4 or 5 months, we've started to get really great feedback for the work that we're doing. We get some people that go, hey, this service is not for me. It doesn't seem to work in the way I work, so I'm not going to use it, whatever. Or it's too expensive or whatever. Doesn't really matter. There's plenty of people that have got that kind of view. But in terms of the people that we work with and we've been working with and getting feedback from, we've had amazing feedback. And in the 7 years previous, running a video company, creating video for people, showing up, filming their event, editing it, delivering it back to them was just a nightmare. It felt like a nightmare for me. I don't believe the team that I had that ever worked for me well enough. And it was always hard managing that team. And so creating Hazel Sky, the wonderful thing that's came in the last 12 months is that we started to get good feedback all the time. And it's so nice. I know it might sound odd, but it's so nice. I've not had to deal with any real difficult situations related to the business. And I think that's an interesting transition. It could be partly because I'm really clear about what I'm saying I'm going to do with people. And part of it could be that I don't discount. It's not discount, but like I'm not desperate for the money. Do you know what I mean? You know, when you first start in business, you are desperate for money, desperate for clients. So you'll make exceptions to what you really feel is your true value. What I mean by that is people will say, I know you said it's this much, but can you do it for this much? Or I know, could you fit more in for the same amount of money? You know, like they make you, because you're new in business, because you're getting started, they make you change what you think is a good amount of money to be paying for the service you deliver. Does that make sense? I think it makes sense. And I've not had to compromise with that this time. I kind of said, like, this is how much it costs, and that's it. And people that have come to me and said it's too expensive, I can't afford that, like, is there anything you can do about it? Like, we have a referral program. People get free credits if they refer people to us. So it's a great way of giving back to them without giving them a discount. But I just don't discount it. If you want discounted credits, you buy more credits and they're cheaper. It's a really nice, easy way to do it. I've not had the same experience in King of Video. I've been working on how to create that kind of stuff. So one of the things I put on here is I really want to help create more raving fans. One of the things we did this year with King of Video is I do Live Vid Week, which is our Facebook Live challenge. When I was looking through the year, I found that in April, Susie was one of the people that joined my challenge, and Susie's become a great raving fan. I'm sure she won't mind mentioning that, of what we do. And it's because she said she saw a different change in the way we delivered stuff, the way I delivered stuff to that challenge. And I want to create more of that. And I've learned through personal development, it's called what we all want, which is significance. And there is a little bit of that. But also I believe that like life is just easier when you're surrounded by the good stuff that you put out into the world. The more good stuff you do, the more good stuff comes back to you. The more good stuff that comes back to you, and it's easier. It's not to say that I've not fell out with people. It's not to say that I've not been blocked by people. I got removed from a community apparently in the last couple of days because they've launched a video editing service and I didn't know, and they obviously see me as a threat or something. Or maybe I've been too pitchy in there. I'm going to do a Facebook Live about that later. So that's it. So raving fans, so business goals, raving fans, and then the last thing I've put, and the last way to end this Facebook Live, because we've been going for ages, 21 minutes, won't go into this long normally, is that I want to focus on my personal development as well. So as health being the word, I'm gonna write it somewhere and put it in my room. Health. I want to focus on personal development. I read quite a lot of books last year. I listened to a lot of audio books. I didn't read a lot of books. I listened to a lot of audio books. One of them was the Get Rich Lucky Bitch by Denise Duffield Thomas, which I really liked. Very female focused, but I really liked the money mindset stuff. So I'm going to focus on that as well to find out more about who I am, why I do what I do, and what I don't know about those things, why I do what I do and who I am. I'm hoping that, excuse me, still got a frog in my throat from New Year's Eve. I'm hoping that it helps me identify more of the people that I enjoy and I like working with. I think that's been a part of the change in business that I've enjoyed, and the great feedback we've got is we found the right people to work with. And that has had a positive net impact overall from a personal and business perspective. All right, so that's it. That's Business and Life Every Day, episode 1. Episode 1. I'll be here every day. I'm not committing yet to a time and a place. I'm doing planning today, and I think people say you should do planning over Christmas and get started straight out the blocks. But I'm planning today because that's the day I want to do planning. So I'm excited to see. I'll see if I can put something in as a time to do this. But I try to not be too rigid with these things, even though I'm told that people like regularity. But this is for me. I'm documenting, and I want to document and see where we get to in 365 days. All right, that's it. Thanks so much for watching. If you watch this far, geez, you must have not got Clubhouse yet, because there's a lot of good stuff going on there. But I appreciate your time and attention. Take care, everyone. Bye bye.